Good evening. It is Tuesday the 20th of February, I think, and here I am. It's the first demonstration of the year, having had just a proper blether in the last one in January, and we're like nearly through February now, which is just a bit mad. Anyway, I hope you're all well. I don't know who will be on the call, whether I will just be chatting to myself. It's entirely possible. I am trying to keep my, I know that you're all going to be in portrait, I think, but I'm filming this in landscape. I don't know, well, that's Facebook for you anyway. Oh, and we have Anna here. Hello, Hannah. Anna, not Hannah. I'm dropping my H there. Hi, Anna. Lovely to hear from you here. And Alison is here as well. Hello, Alison. Hello. I've just sent you a message, actually. I'm not sure whether you will have got it. Catching up with correspondence. And yes, I like 20th of February. It's like, what? I know I say this every time. But hey. Oh, and we have Nikki. He's here as well. Hello, Nikki. I don't know that you've ever joined us on a call before. That would be lovely. Welcome here, and welcome to Linda as well. Oh, it's so nice. I do miss these. I've not really spoken to anybody today. I'm just kind of, I'm a bit Gollum-esque really when I come into my studio and I'm just working away and I don't speak to anybody, and I listen to audiobooks, but I don't really, I don't interact as such. So how lovely to have you all here. And yes, well, let's see what we do, because I'm still managing to keep the studio clean. But for this, I should say, not but for this, for tonight, I have been wanting to do this. And Dawn, thank you for saying hello. And hello to Christy as well. Oh, goodness me, well done for making it. So it's noon your time, isn't it? And it's pitch black over here and a bit rainy. Anyway, getting back to the plan for tonight. Dawn has sent me some gorgeous tiny little things for the creatures to play with. And this is one thing which I've been wanting to play with for a while. So isn't it fabulous? So I've just, of course, it's got to have a couple of wee creatures in it and being pulled along by another wee creature. And I'm thinking mice basically for this one. And thank you, Alison, for keeping, really the tidying up. A few things are starting to sort of creep out onto the sides, but I do try and put everything away at the end of the night. And the only things which are left out are the things which I will work with the next day. That's my plan. But saying that, this has been out since Dawn sent it to me. So when was that, Dawn? A couple of weeks at least? Probably a month, actually, the way the time is going. So yes, I think this is a 24th scale, a 1/24 scale, rather than the normal 12th scale. So I think it's going to be an adult mouse and two little baby mice in the cart. I thought I'd give it a go and see what happens. And because it's red, it's got to be white mice, which of course, as you know, is always my fun thing for keeping clean. But let's see how we get on with it anyway. And again, I'm reading your comments sideways, so do forgive me if I miss any. I'll catch up with them later on. The other exciting thing which I've recently got, came yesterday, is an air fryer. Now I'm not going to use it as an air fryer. It's just basically like a larger toaster oven, and it can broil and bake. It's got different settings. So my idea is that I am going to bake the taller sculptures in there. We'll see how it goes. But yes, I'll have to send you pictures, because it looks really quite smart anyway. So Christy has a full-sized radio flyer wagon in your garage. This is maybe just a little bit smaller. We shall see. Right, okay, I better crack on. The other thing I'm going to have to, because of course Microsoft, I'm changing the subject here, as I tend to do. Microsoft, in their great wisdom, and I trust you can hear the sarcasm in there, has decided to change, or do in their latest update. I must remember, actually, I must make a note just not to do updates, to be honest. They're just a bit of a pain. In the last update for Windows 10, they have taken out the video editor, which I use for doing all my little speeded up films following Brew and Blethers, and they've deleted it. They've taken out. They're saying no, we don't do it anymore. You're going to have to use something called Clipchamp or something. Now I haven't used it, haven't looked at it. I have just downloaded it. I don't know what it's going to be like. The reviews are not good, but then all change is always resisted, let's be honest. So I'm keeping as open a mind as I possibly can. We'll see how it goes. But it might mean that it'll take a little while for me to do my little video chat. Sorry, my little speeded up video. We'll see. Maybe it'll be the best thing since sliced bread. We can but hope. Anyway, that's a parent mouse is going to be there, and I think for these it's going to have to be. Let's see if a 3-gram mouse is going to fit in there. We shall see. So like that's 282. Yes, I mean ideally I wouldn't want to go any smaller than 3. And yeah, I think, can you imagine this? So this is how all the wee creatures start off. You know, I just cut the size of clay that I want. I'm going to make the next one 2.5, so it's a big one and a small one actually. And yes, and then I kind of sort of see whether they'll fit based on what I'm planning. But they have standard sizes. You know, I kind of know what size will work. For example, the thing which I've been working on this week is the Four Seasons pre-order, Four Seasons Trees pre-order, my collaboration. There's a 2.5-gram bit of clay. I know it doesn't look much different, but it is. It's enough, I think. Yeah, so the collaboration with Rachel that I'm doing, Rachel Pettit Designs, who is, yeah, she's done these amazing trees. And we're going to be launching the spring trees first, which is wonderful because it's my favourite time of year ever. Love spring. It's just, oh, where did that little, I just need to, I think that goes in there. Yeah, so I've got the spring tree to work on. I'm doing all the prototypes, and then we'll be taking pre-orders for those. And the Four Seasons trees we'll be doing one every 3 months or every 2.5 months or so throughout the year, and it's just going to be fabulous. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the whole point of bringing that up, of course, is because her trees usually mean a 3-gram creature that sits on them, whereas you know, a lot of a 3 or a 4-gram, depending on the size of creature. Gosh, I think I'm quite OCD about the weight of things. Because this is a 6.3 gram of clay. This is for the larger mice. My sort of the standard mice before I started making really small mice was 6.3 grams. Why not 6? Why not 6.5? No, it was 6.3 grams. That's the way it is. So yeah, it's just, I don't know why, but these, you know, adult mice are 6.3 grams. That's just the way it is. And then smaller creatures, you know, when I started working with Rachel and with other collaborations, then I had to go smaller. And I really love the 3-gram mice. They're just the 3-gram mice. Okay, I'll just stop that now. That's just getting silly. But yes, I think I'm going smaller as I work. As time goes by, the creatures are getting smaller, not larger. It's very interesting to watch how they are shrinking in size. Because you'll remember the charity auction that I did in January, when I had quite a lot of creatures from years ago. And for example, the Garden of Eden cats, which I did, which are going to the lovely Janine, they are huge compared to the mice and the other creatures that I do these days. It's just bizarre. I love it. I love it. I love how they've kind of refined over time and just become really small and cute. Right, this is the downside of white, because it's just, oh, it is such a, I mean, actually, I'll be honest, the flob situation, I know that you're all dying to hear about the flob situation. It has improved. Definitely has improved since I've cleared out the studio. It really has made a difference. And having the beast of my air purifier as well, it is making a difference. However, I wouldn't be me if I couldn't see flob everywhere. And to be honest, I don't know. I mean, I scrubbed my hands before I came on today, but no, there's still flob. Anyway, so I'll just keep chipping away, and then he turns out to be not a 6.3 gram mouse because I've chipped away so much. He'll probably end up being about 6.2 or 6.23 grams by the end of it. My goodness. Yeah, I guess I do sound quite quite OCD. And yes, I mean, who knows what I'll be like in 10, 20, 30 years' time. But for the time being, it works in some respects because it means that I'm always, you know, I'm always striving for the best, the cleanest, the neatest, the tidiest. You know, that's so each mouse, each wee creature will be as good as it possibly can, and hopefully better than the last ones. Not that I'm in any way dissing the ones that I make already, but just, you know, if you're always striving to better yourself, I think that's a good thing, whilst appreciating where you've come from. And that's the other part, which is just as important. And I think this is why I'm enjoying knitting so much, because you have to sit and admire your work just to make sure you haven't made any mistakes. So yes, it's a good excuse just to sit and go, okay, that's good. And I'm not sure that I've done enough of that with the wee creatures. I mean, yeah, I probably have actually, because they just make me giggle. And so I must be stopping at them and stopping working and looking at them so that they make me giggle. So yeah, okay, that's a total blether there. We'll just scoot over that one. Right. Oh, there's less flob. That has not taken as long to clean the flob as it normally does. Now, he's going to be looking back, I think, as he's maybe standing sideways, wondering what they're getting up to. So I'm going to shape his legs so that his head is turning and pointing to that way, left. And this is how I get the movement into the creatures. I try and sort of change or make them in their pose, rather than sort of make them standing straight and looking straight on at you and then trying to bend them, because that never works. Well, it does work, but it just looks as though that's what you've done. It's no fun. If you want to kind of make it much more organic, I suppose is a good word. Oh, you see, my thumb has flob issues. Introducing flob via the thumb. And you probably can't see it here. And to be honest, if I didn't have such good eyesight without my glasses on, I'd probably be sending out flob-ridden creatures into the world. So yeah, so you see, so he's kind of, by shaping him in that position, it kind of looks as though I'm not twisting him to be in that position, if that makes sense. Right, okay. Now, a lot of this flob I will be able to clear off once they're baked as well, because then I can scrape it. But anyway, right. Okay, so he's about the right height for holding it. There we go. And I'll let him cool down a little bit, because it's quite warm in here. And it's probably not helped by the fact that I have a scarf on. This is good, right? I'm just taking off my scarf. That's a little bit cooler. Right, tiny mice time. So this is the smaller one, this is the larger one. So I'll just move him to one side. And I'll work on the smaller one first. And right. Again with the I can't multitask, so do forgive me when I kind of just forget what I'm saying, shut up for a little bit, or just go off completely on tangents. That's just, how fun is it to do that? Now, these two, I think I could have one standing up, but that would be a bit dangerous in a cart. We wouldn't want them to fall over. Oh, and we have, sorry, I am now looking up from my work and having a look at the comments. We've got Janet. Janet, you're here. Hello, Janet. How lovely to see you. Flob, you're asking about flob. Flob is just dirt, dust, anything which is not pristine is flob. So it's just my general description of all things which don't really go well with the clay. So if ever you see a speck of anything, and this is why I don't call it just dust, because it might not just be dust, it could be anything. But flob is the general, that's the thing which plagues me basically. Now, let's see, how am I going to, and that, you see, I don't know, You probably can't see that. I don't know. There are like 3 bits of flob on this bit of mouse now. But yes, so that is flob, and I do battle with flob every time I do these videos, which is why Alison is laughing at me. As well she might, because it's just, yes, this is the dark side of OCD. You see flob everywhere. Anyway, oh, we have Nick on the phone as well, and Sarah on the phone. You're not on the phone, but you know what I mean. You are actually on my phone, but you know what I mean. Yeah, so Sarah's here as well, and Nick and Janet, and oh, this is fabulous, as well as Alison. This is great. I don't know how many of you are there. Not quite the thousands that one day the creatures will have, I'm sure. Maybe. Actually, do you know, I was at the Bridgewater Hall, which is like the big concert venue, one of the big concert venues in Manchester, on Sunday night, and I was taking Enrique out for his early birthday present, or one part of it anyway. Now, let me just think where I'm going to. I think this little mouse is going to be like peering over the edge and seeing where he's going. So I'm going to have to make him and possibly have him kneeling in the back of the truck. Anyway, yes, Bridgewater Hall. So I went to see Rick Wakeman, who is an excellent keyboard player and used to be still is actually, when they get together, in the band Yes, 70s prog rock band from Britain, and just really quite an amazing musician. And it was just a joy to watch him and to hear him and 2 other members, the guitarist and the bass player, were also from Yes. And his son was up there, and there were some backing singers, and it was so good. It was lots of fun. The reason for telling you that is because I was just thinking about how many people must have been there. I mean, it must have been hundreds and hundreds, probably into, a couple of thousand of people there. And there they were, just happily. I mean, he's like mid-70s now, I think, actually. And he must have been just happily playing away and just having the best time. It was just lovely to see, just somebody who's just keeps doing what they love for as long as they can, and there's always people who are out there who want to hear what he's playing, and that's lovely. And I kind of feel a bit like that with the creatures. Here I am, I'm just doing what I love, and I'm having fun, and they make me giggle, and you guys show up, and you just have fun and giggle with me, and that's just... So I'm trying to say, in a long way, is that I really do appreciate you. So thank you for coming on the call and putting up with me whiffling away and, cleaning all, doing all the flob cleaning. I have often said right from day one that a big part of making the re-creatures is flob management. That's just it. But then it's worth the effort because the end result is really nice and flob free mostly. Right, okay, so there's little mouse who is going to make sure that he's going to be okay there. Yeah, we'll have him bending right over. Zoe's trying to sort of touch the axle, I think. Oh, sorry. And I might even, because this is what's so much fun. I'll have him sort of balancing over, and I'll probably have the other mouse leaning behind him, holding onto his tail probably, and just seeing, holding him up and making sure that he doesn't fall over, because they're siblings and they're looking after each other, and they just don't want to. They don't want any harm. Or the big brother, big sister, big mouse doesn't want any harm to come to small mouse. So that's. So I guess actually there was I was asked last week, a girl in America asked me whether I talk to the creatures and do I give them names, and I don't give them names because I trust that when they go and live with whoever they're going to live with, that they will whisper their names to whoever they're going to live with. But I certainly speak to them, and I narrate their story like I am just now. So it's like, oh, there's the little mouse is sort of reaching over, might get into trouble, but the big mouse is going to just keep an eye out and make sure that he's safe, and the mummy or daddy mouse, the parent mouse, is going to look back and just make sure, just keep a careful eye, not interfere, because kids have got to be kids, baby mice have got to be baby mice. Excuse me. And yeah, and they always tell a story, and this is it's just so much fun. This is one of the reasons why I am enjoying very much the thimbles, the thimble mice. Now I have managed to find nearly 20 of these snow baby thimbles, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to make creatures for everybody who wants one. But if not, I have got my eyes on plenty of other thimbles with creatures on them, not necessarily the snow babies, but the thimbles, they come in such a lot of different designs and styles. There's just no end to what creatures can go on them. So yeah, there'll be plenty of thimbles. I even thought this morning, Janet was mentioning there about Graham the snail and the adventures of Graham the snail and how he used to go off on his little travels and all the rest of it. And it's been a while since I've done sort of a continuing saga like that, or an equivalent would be the Squeak Show or the Mouse House, the Snail Emporium, all these sort of little offshoots of queerness that I did. And I was thinking that there could be a thimble club happening. There may be a thimble club. So those people who like thimbles and like the wee creatures may actually just have found their perfect match, where I make wee creatures on lots of different thimbles. It was just something which occurred to me whilst I was out on my walk. That's where I often have lots of little adventures and or little ideas for the creatures' adventures. So that might be something that I look into doing at some point. But hey, there's always new ideas that come around. Oh, is the camera position okay? Just parenthetically, just to make sure everything's all right. And Janet, you're saying you took him to Sandringham and got his passport stamped. That's right. I had so much fun making all his little accoutrements. He had a little trunk with luggage, and he had a little notebook as well as his passport. Graham the snail, for anybody who's seen we had a web page, like there's a Facebook group for Graham the snail, and he now he's in retirement, living with Karen French, so with Maud and the grand snails. So it's oh, thanks Alison, that's good to know. Yeah, it's Graham the snail was fabulous, and I loved reading everybody's adventures. I mean, you all sort of just had so much fun with him. Now, I've got to be careful how I position this, because it could potentially... Oh, I'll bring him back down now. Right, so we want siblings, so we have to make sure that he's kind of looking over and holding onto his tail. So actually, he's going to lean back a little bit. Again, ergonomics, because he's going to be pulling on the tail to keep him from falling over, you see. And even though they don't have any eyes, they don't have any ears, their personality is already coming through here, as well as the flob, of course. And he's just got one or two little air bubbles that I shall get out. Right. Oh, I'll just give him a quick wipe. These are actually these are Tesco's wet wipes, and they're plant-based now. The other ones were they had more acrylic or something, or polyester, or I don't know, some kind of man-made fibre. These are pretty good. They don't shed as much. So yeah, what are they called? If you're interested. Fred and Flo biodegradable, and they're biodegradable. Fragrance-free wipes, that's my flob cleaning that I do. And they are good. I mean, they are wet wipes. They're intended for babies. So how appropriate for creatures. Right, so I'm going to just sit them in there, put them to one side, and come back to mummy. Well, yes, parent mouse. Is it a mummy? Is it a daddy? We'll find out. They will tell me. Oh, there's a big bit of flob there. Go. See, sometimes it can just happen just while they're sitting there. And what's very strange about what feels strange, sorry, when I'm making them, is the difference working with larger creatures. Because I mean, okay, this mouse is now comparatively large compared to the other two, so it's very strange working with a larger creature, with a larger mouse. So I've got to kind of remember you know, sort of it's different spaces for the eyes, different spaces for the ears. It's a very different skill, I suppose, or technique. Technique is probably the better word. Right. Now I haven't rolled out any clay for eyes yet, but I want to just, or for ears and paws and things. Right. So right, moment of concentration going on there. And then a little bit of liquid clay for the nose. And I have a continuing pile of bits of paw and ear and tail clay. I just gather it. I don't know why. I just don't throw it out. So my workbench is actually still covered in clay, but it's in little ordered strips of clay. I will show you in just a second once I've put the nose on. There we go. Just need to shape the head a little bit more so that where the ears come in, and a more defined neck and more defined cheeks and chin. Right, here we go. And the bit that you've all been waiting for, or at least Alison has, the eye box. We have the eye box. So these eye beads are between 2.5 and 2.7 millimeters in diameter. Right, I'm going to just, hopefully my head won't get in the way here. I'm just going to fish out the right size of eye beads. No, I need to. Oh, yeah, that's. No, they're just not the same size. It really is amazing how. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. And I will use 2 millimeter beads, eyes for the little ones there. And a corner of the bead itself, and then very carefully positioned. So, because quite sometimes, because I mean, I use bent nose pliers, which are definitely, or tweezers, I should say, which are definitely best for placing. But if you press too hard, then you can mark the clay with the end of the nose. So important. Oh, where are the there's the edges. Because I don't like having the holes showing outwardly. But if you put them in at exactly halfway round, 180 degrees, then both eyes, both holes of the beads get pushed into the clay itself. Put them away very carefully and very quickly so that they don't go off a wall, as I have told you many times, each time probably, that they do, and it's horrible when they all spill everywhere. All right, I'm just catching up. Yes, oh, thank you. You and Christy, Alison and Christy, you're just being lovely. And yes, one day I'll have to make a Frankenstein's monster, and it can have mismatched eyes. Oh no, can you imagine? Oh, poor little thing. Oh, what a shame. Could I inflict that on a mouse? I don't know. I'd have to see. I've certainly done it for moodlings. See, that was another sort of offshoot design that I did with a shop, my moodlings. So I do remember I did moodlings with, I think it was a coffee addict. Their eyes were googles and sort of like different sizes of eyes. Right. Oh, look, I mean, it's the way they just seem to come to life. Once the eyes go in. This is definitely a mummy mouse. There you go. Not quite sure why, but it's definitely a mummy mouse. And flob. Right, it's quite warm in here under the lights actually, so I'll let her rest for a little minute as well, and I'll roll out the ears. So now I need to keep an eye on the time tonight. Actually, well, not just tonight. Every time that we that we do this, because I do have a tendency to run over. I think actually I think consistently they're about they're 40 to 45 minutes now, aren't they? Really? No, Alison, I won't make a. I won't. I promise. Well, we'll see. You never know. I'm sure I've made a mouse dressed up as a mummy before, or was that the penguin? There was one which had lots of wrapped in toilet paper, but it wasn't. Bandages. That's the one. That's what the mummies wear. Nothing to do with Frankenstein though. No, House of Mouse has done a wonderful Frankenstein monster, but it's cute. It's just, or mouster, I should say. It's cute. It's not a monster. Sorry, just going to roll out the clay. Right. So I have rolled this out. Again, through trial and error, I've discovered that the perfect width for my 6.3 grams of mouse is to roll out the clay on setting number 3 and then fold it in half and cut out a double thickness of setting number 3. It's marginally thicker than the thickest setting. So it's amazing how you do discover things. Now I'll roll out the clay again for just to tingle, the thickest setting, which will be thinner than this for those 2 mice when I get them done. Right, and now I should probably write all this down at some point. If anything happened, I've thought about this, not in a morbid way, but if anything happened, if folk came in and were looking at the creatures and were just like, whoa, what's going on here? I don't think anybody would know. I don't really write anything down. I sometimes keep a recipe of, if it's a colour. I have a few notes here and there, but it's all very sporadic. I haven't been methodical about it at all. I just kind of trust my brain more than anything else. Flob. Oh, ew. The inner ear, under the ear, because it's translucent clay that I use for the inner ears. Any flob will show through if it's dark enough, particularly when I thin it down, which I do when I'm shaping it, which I shall do now. So, ball shaper. This is the right size of ball shaper for it. Again, I used to use that ball shaper. They look. Oh, I'm saying that. Yeah, that is the right size. It's just slightly different size and it's much smoother. The other one was getting a bit scratched. Right, yes, because, right, so it's just gone past, I think, now. Just going to shape these, and I haven't even cut out any of the paws or anything. Yes, Janet, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's, oh, wait a minute. As we get overrun, sorry, it's quite hard. I haven't quite mastered the skill of reading sideways, so forgive me. I'm catching occasional comments. But yes, you're right, Janet. The way that the creatures come to life with not very much at all. And I think this is why they're so expressive, is because you can see whatever you want to see in them. They all have different personalities and expressions, but at the end of the day, it's a shaped piece of clay with 2 black beads and a small dot for the nose. And yet, I mean, it's such an expressive mouse. I don't really understand it, and I don't need to understand it. It makes me happy. And that's all that I need to know about. This is the translucent clay for making feet. So at least if I can get the mummy mouse sorted. She won't be completely finished tonight, but we'll at least, oh, and I'll have to cut the wire for the tail as well. Every time or any time you have seen, and the tail is strengthened with wire armature, because I've got quite a sort of a set script now for all the listings. I know what I want to say about them. That's my wire armature. It's, and let's see if I can cut out enough paws. That's the tail that I need. Oh, where is it? And this is the smaller. I have had these cutters from pretty much day one, and I make sure they're one of the most valuable things that I have. Although I've got lots and lots of different cutters now, I always come back to these ones. They're very precious to me. So yes, I hope I never ever lose them. That would be quite nice if I didn't. Right. Oh, see, a little bit of flob on the foot as well. Right, so, oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing, my hands are kind of just getting on with it, and then my brain remembers that it has to sort of narrate at some point, so do forgive. Oh, Alison, is that the first time that you've seen the wire? Oh, well, there you go. It's, again, trial and error. I use this Eurowire, it's coloured copper wire. And it's great, because I used to use silver or gold, but this copper wire, because it's kind of pinkish, it's rose copper, it doesn't show through the tail, which is pink as well. So it works perfectly. I've been using it now for several years. I couldn't tell you exactly how long. Dawn, you were saying, yes, you love crafting as well. You're very, very, very good at it as well. You've just got so many strings to your bow, my dear. It's wonderful. It's all right. So anyway, this is the tail. So I'm going to make sure that the tail is ready. So I flatten the edge, roll it into a small snake, but flatten the edge, just pressing it onto there. And this is where I have to sort of thread it onto the wire. So I have to get it as centrally as possible, and then make sure that I'm guiding it through the center of the core of the clay, rather than, so it's not on either side, or not too close to the edge, I should say. And then it's just a question of very carefully teasing it, so that it's kind of roughly equal length throughout, and there are no air bubbles. That's the other thing, because if there's any air bubbles between the clay and the wire, then it just falls off. So it's got to grip the clay as well. That'll do. And then I bend the tail, because this wire, it's 22 gauge. It's 0.6 of a millimeter thick, and it's just the perfect stiffness. It's a good strength for the mouse tails, basically. And then pliers. These are pliers. Sorry, I'm bending that at 45 degrees, and that will be the tail when I'm ready. So actually, I can more or less, I can assemble this, the mother mouse now. Oh, he disappeared off screen there. First of all, I shall sign one of the paws, because it's better to do it now rather than do it once the paw is on the mouse. I can blend it in better at this stage. So that's my signature cane, which, yeah, it's very tiny. I have only made 2 canes in all the 15 years, or nearly 15 years, that I've been doing quernus, and I've still got lots to keep. I mean, it started out, it's about that thick, and then I reduce it down so that it becomes very thin. But the actual monogram on the inside stays the same. It's magic. It's magic. I know I've said it many times before, but polymer clay is just the best material ever. It really is. Right, so that's the signed paw. And now I'll just cut the ears to the right angle, because they're going on a rounded head, so they've got to be they can't just be stuck on at right angles, because that would just look odd. So over the years I have worked out the best angle and the best position on the ear, which actually helps to give them more of a mouse, you know, the way that the ears curl in is helped by cutting it as well. That's just where the tools actually really help create the end result. Right, this is my extensor medium. And here we go. Ear placement is always a big moment, really. And when one is on, I'll slightly tweezer that apart, pull that apart. And then it's just all by eye, not literally, because, you know, I use my hands, but you know what I mean. There's no measurements, it's just whatever whatever looks right, you know. Are the ears in the right place? And then they get blended in, which is always a fun part. But I've got to be, you don't have to be careful. I do. I have to be careful that I don't deform the head by pressing too much, and that it blends enough so that it actually looks more natural. And again, this is the way that it's been cut really helps with that, because it's at an angle. God, I can't speak properly. And then what I sometimes do, if the marks from the clay shaper are a bit too obvious, then I will use a smaller ball shaper and just smooth them out. And the last thing, see, who'd have thought that ear placements for the mice was as complicated as this? This just lightly blends out any seam that there might be, and that is now dry. So another flob wipe. Yeah, I should really write to Tesco and ask them to rename these flob wipes instead of baby wipes, because, you know, that's what I use them for. Right. Because she has been lying on her back. There is a particular stubborn piece of flob there. There we go. Done. Right. Now, I will get the paws put on now. So a little bit of the extender medium. I'm not going to fix her to this yet. I may not, actually, because it's quite loose, and so you wouldn't want her sort of flying around and possibly breaking away. I'll need to work out the mechanics, the best mechanics for that. It might be that I need to fix this so that it's straight, it can only move in one direction. That might be something that I think about doing. Right, so now I've got to think about how she's going to be positioning. So she'll be kind of trying to go forward, because she'll have been pulling it, and now she's looking back to find out what's going on. What are they doing? What are they up to? So one paw will be going forward, and the other one is just sort of she's beginning to turn round, but she hasn't quite. Do you see how, sorry, I don't know, I think it's probably best to see it rather than to explain it too much, but it's kind of hard to, yeah. So she's going to be, her body movement, her body momentum is now shifting. So it was going forward, but she's turning back to see what's going on. So one paw is still going forward, the other one's just starting to turn, and her body's starting to turn to look back. Yeah, it's just, yeah, this is why they're alive. They get to do all this clever stuff. Right, tail going on. There we go. And there. And she's also leaning forward a little bit too. But yeah, so I don't think you can see that very clearly. I'll have to show you pictures in the morning once it's all done. But yeah, if you can capture that sort of sense of movement, it really does make a big difference. And And as well, because I can see her, she's slightly leaning forward as well, which is perfect. That's just what I want. And what I do, the tail is obviously way too long, so this is what I always do. This doesn't hurt them, by the way, if anybody's worried. And then I push the clay back a little bit, and so that I can close it over and make it a nice neat edge, which is stronger because it's shorter. It's not so vulnerable. So yes, after many years of trial and error, this is the best way I have found to make the tails. Right, okay, gosh, one mouse, two shaped, and it's 9:15, so I should, or 1:45 for those who are there. So yeah, so I'm going to, yeah, this is going to be very cute. So this little mouse is going to be leaning back. He's going to be pulling the tail to keep the other one from falling over the edge. Sorry, they're making me giggle now. So yes, I will finish those two off. And this, you know, and Mummy Mouse is going to be holding this and going, what are you doing? What are you doing? So yeah, these three are fun. These are good fun. So I shall finish there and finish them off in the morning and post a picture when they're done. But thank you so much for joining and for allowing me to run over. But as I say, maybe I'll just change the time, because I do seem to finish at 1:45 the hour these days. But thank you so much for joining me. It's lovely to see new people and folk that I haven't seen for ages. So thank you so much for all your comments, and I shall see you soon. All right, have a good night, day, rest of the day. See you soon. Bye.